Welcome again, viewers. This is James Kimathi with you again, Slope TV. I urge you, even as we begin, that you can subscribe with us and make commentaries. We are grateful to all those who have followed our videos and those who have commented and liked and subscribed. And we are growing together. On this particular channel, we want to be a leader in informed commentaries on affairs, politics, governance, and every other issue that is around this space. And today, Wamunyoro is back to Wamunyoro. One Rigiji, he has said he is taking a hiatus, a consultative period, a reflection period, a time of reflection, and he has gone back to Wamunyoro. But this is after I don't know whether it is an underwhelming visit of the Western Kenya landscape, where of course he had announced that he was moving there to mobilize and to be able to sell the idea of the DCP party. And questions have come. How successful were Rigiji's, DCP's political meetings in Western Kenya the week past? And I've had a lot of the commentators are talking about it. And one of the things is, why is it that he was not able to gather the Western leaders? I thought, for example, Edwin Sifuna is currently a force. The leader Mwananchi, Maestro, is a force that should have given color and even flavor to Wamunyoro's hitherto underwhelming visit in Western Kenya. We didn't see the kind of excitement or reception that one would have expected. But again, there are those who are complaining and saying the president swept the carpet under their feet, because again he organized an event in Kakamega hosted by one Wycliffe Oparanya, the Minister for Cooperatives and MSMEs Development, where they were empowering local farmers through the launching of the Ushirikiano Sacco for Western Kenya. And so, as much as people may want to debate whether the underperformance may have been a result of the presidential visit, they said they were not allowed to have their meeting in Kakamega because the president was there. But generally, we want to ask, what was the planning? How much planning went into the Western visit by one Rigiji, the former deputy president of the Republic of Kenya, and the head of the Democracy for Citizens Party, ile chama ya masikio? Na the question is, walisikiza ground vizuri? Those are the questions. Waliweza kuperform? Did they perform as per the expectations of the both admirers and other people around the political space? We will wait to get the verdict on this, but I think, in my own opinion, it wasn't as much as was made to look, because I think in their in popularizing that visit, it was like a big homecoming, maybe for one Malala, and maybe trying to mend fences, because there were rumors that they were not in one piece, that there were frictures, there was friction. And one of our episodes, previous episodes, we were able to discuss this a bit, the friction within the DCP party. And I think because politics is optics, they were trying to do some optics to show that they are in one piece. Now, Rigathi Gachagua announced that after the Western tour, he would now go back and have consultations at his home village, Wamunyoro. And I think they have started in earnest. Yesterday, he was with the team from Ol Kalau. I don't know why the choice of Ol Kalau. Probably because we have a by-election there following the passing away of the MP. And now campaigns are ongoing in Ol Kalau. Now, this is another theater where we want to see the performance of DCP, because Gachagua has tried to portray himself as the kingpin of the Mount Kenya, that when he coughs, Mount Kenya catches a cold. And now we want to see, because Olkalau is in the cards and it's happening soon. And so this is space to watch. Viewers, we are watching that space, want to know what is happening. But in the meantime, as we analyze the politics of DCP party, we want to ask this question. Is the essence of the D in DCP understood by the leadership of the Masikio party? Have they really come to analyze the meaning of the D for democracy? Is DCP democratic? I mean, what is the culture they are building amongst their followers in the Mount Kenya region? Now, one of the things that has come out, and I watched one Professor Kagwanja commenting on this on another channel. And Professor Kagwanja is not a neophyte in this. He's not new in the politics of Kenya. He's an old hand. He's experienced. He's educated. He is. He can speak from inside. He has done the court politics. He was right inside in Kibaki's politics. Right now, he is with the DCP, the Karua party. Is it PLP party? That is where he is. But again, we know he has been a strategist of great experience. And I respect his opinions, because he cannot speak from nothing. He speaks from research, from data, from experience of many years being able to discuss and work out politics, form alliances, and work to form government. He has that experience. And now Professor Kagwanja is actually talking about the democracy within the Mount Kenya region, within the Mount Kenya region. And he asserts very well that Mount Kenya gave a lot of votes to the current regime. And now that both the UDA party and the opposition, who are Raila Odinga and the Orange party, now they are in one government, the broad-based. He said Mount Kenya gave the Orange party, or Raila Odinga, 1.3 million votes, and gave one William Samoei Ruto about 4.7 million votes. And so his argument is that actually the current regime is in place, courtesy largely of the Mount Kenya votes. But now, one Rigiji was one of the biggest mobilizers of Mount Kenya politicians and voters towards UDA and the Kenya Kwanza government. Recently he said he made a mistake and he apologized to the people of Mount Kenya. And now the question is he not likely to make another mistake? But now, look at this. Instead of allowing the people of Mount Kenya, according to Kagwanja, to gather around policy, around ideology, to have political parties around ideology, Kagwanja argues that this particular party, DCP, is having dictatorial tendencies. That even when you go for meetings together, joint meetings of different political parties, that one Rigiji is usurping the authority of all parties and is swallowing the other parties and only probably talking about the DCP, and is working for one monolithic party that will control the whole of the spectrum of the Mount Kenya region. And Kagwanja argues that Mount Kenya really was not short of political parties. It wasn't short of political parties. In fact, his argument is that anyone with good money, they have a political party. And he mentioned some of them. And we can mention others that are all from Mount Kenya region. And so he was saying that the problem in Mount Kenya, the feeling of exclusion in Mount Kenya within the national government is not for lack of political parties. Probably it is because of them. It is because of them. Because what ideology are you gathering together the mountain people? Are you gathering them together on a thought, on an idea, on a platform of ideas and vision, or out of anger? And he talked, and I agree with him to a large extent, about the emotional, politics of emotion, politics of anger, so that we are not able to isolate, the personal experiences, the feeling of betrayal, the bitterness in the heart of one regarding Gachagua that even took him to hospital, Karen Hospital, because he was bitter that he was removed from the office at that time. We are not able to separate his personal tragedy, personal issues, personal loss from community, regional issues, so that the politics of today, they are largely driven by personal bitterness, vendetta, where Gachagua feels offended. In fact, he has not hidden this in political meetings. He has weaved his own sorrows, his own issues, and said that it is Mount Kenya under attack. It is Mount Kenya that was betrayed. And now you hear him talking of the Itungati and the Tugunia, which is of course dividing the people again, trying to coerce the Mount Kenya people, especially the leadership, so that if you are not with one regarding Gachagua in DCP, then you are a Gakunia, you are a traitor. So he has drawn a line, so that then if you're on this side, you are either for him or you are either on the other side. He has what we call us and them, which to me is a very dangerous way of doing politics. And I fear that without probably knowing or knowingly, Gachagua is trying to weaponize, and I say there is a lot of heaviness, weaponize the people of Mount Kenya against the opposing sides. And that is not democracy, because democracy is we compete on ideas, we go to the suffrage, whoever gets more votes, and we have our constitution talks of 50+1. Whoever is the first to get 50+1 then qualifies to lead this country. And of course, Kenya, our new constitution, it has decentralized power. We have the counties, we have the constituencies, we have the wards, and then of course we have the president. But then around there, we are playing our politics, because again, their interests, because when it comes to political power, is what allocates resources. So we are winning, we are fighting for the presidency or for the leadership of this country at whatever level, because again, when you get to power, you have mandate to allocate or to determine how resources are allocated. And so allocation of resources is politics, and it is central to our politics. So when one Gachagua is fighting for a party for Mount Kenya and he wants national leadership, I don't know whether he just wants to lead Mount Kenya only. And so if then the D in DCP carries any weight, I think one of the things that Rigathi Gachagua, with all due respect, should do is to allow for democracy, number one, within his own party, and then number two, within the spectrum of his region. We have the PLP party, we have the BAS party, we have Muturi's party, we have the former minister Moses Kuria's party, we have Waitito's former governor's party, we have Kabogo's party, Tujibebe party. We have all these parties, and they are here there is the No Pair, there is, I mean, we are not short of parties within the Mount Kenya region. We have the former MP for Gatanga, Peter Kenneth's party. And so Mount Kenya is not short of political parties. What we need is the organizing of the politics around ideas, where then that party, the ideas within that party, whether it is the DCP party or the TNA or the Jubilee party of the former president Uhuru Kenyatta, then members of the community can align themselves with that party or whichever party on the basis of the ideologies, the vision you have, the programs you would like to accomplish when and if at all you get to power. And so if then one party's policies, ideologies are agreeing with another party's ideologies, then those parties can merge their ideologies and their manifestos, and so that unity will be born out of agreement of ideas. And that is where you find then the party in question can unite with another party without looking at the tribal background, because then if, for example, the DP party or the PLP party has policies that agree with the Ford Kenya party or ANC party or the Orange Democratic Party or UDA, then they are agreeing on ideologies that would be implemented in the Republic of Kenya for the good of the people of Kenya. And it is my view that then when a party has think tanks, people who can come and get a philosophy of the party, think around what is our position on this and that, on devolution. And that is why I had a lot of respect for the former president, Prime Minister Raila Odinga, because you would know ordinarily, without questioning anybody, that the Orange Democratic Party was pro-people, it was pro-poor, it was a party of devolution, it was a party of human rights, it was a party of inclusion. Now, what is it that DCP stands for? And I'm talking about DCP because, of course, Gachagua is prodding that party to be the dominant party by whatever means. So is it okay for DCP, Democracy for Citizens Party, to use dictatorial means to force people to that party who do not agree with that party's position on certain things? Uhuru Kangata, for example, the governor for Murang'a, Kangata, for example, has associated and been seen to associate with the Linda Mwananchi led by Sifuna Orengo and Babu Winos and so on. And there is this information that Gachagua is not comfortable with that. He says he will raise someone to compete against Kangata, because Kangata has not gotten or joined the camp of Gachagua. And Gachagua had also issues with Waigoros of this world and others, because he feels threatened, and Moses Kuria, because they have not agreed to join the DCP party. And so my question is DCP democratic? Is the D in DCP a silent letter? Because then we will know you by the actions we see now. So if you cannot allow democracy presently, how sure are we that you will allow democracy later, if you get to power? So if then one of the tenets of the Democratic Party is democracy, then that democracy must be exercised even when you are choosing the leadership of the party, or even when you are engaging with others at whatever level, whether at Mount Kenya, regional or national level, then an element of democracy and less of dictatorship must be the fulcrum upon which that party is built. And I think this will enrich our democracy as a country. And we must comment on this because I know, for example, a lot of leaders, MPs, current and past, and even those serving governors, they are very uncomfortable because of the politics, the kind of politics that the DCP is doing on the ground. Because the kind of politics they are doing is politics of coercing and bringing down and fighting anybody that seems to have a different opinion. And that politics is driven by bitterness and anger. It is driven by a kind of vengeance, so that then if you are not for Gachagua, if you don't agree with his looks or even the way he talks or his philosophy or lack of it, or ideology or lack of it, then you are an enemy to the party and to the leader. And I think that is not democracy. That is coercion. That is dictatorship. And that tells us, should then Gachagua win, led by such tendencies, and becomes the president of this country, then of course we know that party will not be democratic. And the other thing is, why would Gachagua, who is looking for national leadership and working with others within the alternative government, why would he seem to be so autocratic? Why would he not seem to give space for others? Can the Wiper Party, for example, have followership within Mount Kenya and campaign and field candidates for political office within Mount Kenya, within Coast, within Rift Valley, and Gachagua allows that? I doubt that that would happen. And even as we move forward, we want to ask, for example, we have Uhuru Kenyatta, who has been president and the senior most political leader within the Mount Kenya region, having been president. Does Gachagua, for example, respect the position of one Uhuru Kenyatta? Because Kenyatta has his Jubilee Party, where he has probably named one Matiang'i, the former CS, as the deputy party leader. Now, is Gachagua able to accommodate the political interests of one Uhuru Kenyatta? Or this will be a battle area, a battle of egos? And to me, there is a lot of ego, there is a lot of anger, there is a lot of emotion, politics of vengeance, politics of push, threats and intimidation, which to me will not breed very good results as we move forward. The other thing that I would like to ask is, what is the end game for Rigathi Gachagua as a party leader of DCP? Now we know very well that the High Court judgment did not vacate the impeachment that happened or occasioned on one Rigathi Gachagua by the Senate of Kenya. Now, that means if things stay as they are, Gachagua is not qualified for any political office. So he's gathering people around, but he cannot compete for presidency, he cannot compete for deputy presidency, he cannot compete for governor, he cannot compete for MP, he cannot compete for MCA. And this man is a one-term MP before he became the DP. But he has managed and give it to him to galvanize leaders. You can have your own issues around it, but he has galvanized leadership of Mount Kenya around himself within that point. And I think we must give it to him. He seems to be resourced. He has money. He is able to gather delegates around Wamunyoro. But then the question is, where are you taking the people that you are gathering together? Will you go all the way to the campaigns to the presidency, or there will be an auctioning market along the way. An auctioning market along the way. That is my fear. And that is my question. And even as we look at the issue of impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua, then we are asking, when they sit down with the rest of the competitors, the alternative government, then what are his talking points? What are his asks? What is he asking? And what is he able to give, you know? So probably he wants to come with a basket of the votes of Mount Kenya. But then what is he asking in return when he says these ones will vote for so and so? Because probably that is where we are moving. And he has said is that Wamunyoro consulting especially on the matter of the single presidential candidate. Who is he consulting with? Is he consulting with his fellows, his colleagues in the alternative government, or is he consulting the villagers around the Mount Kenya region? And one Professor Peter Kagwanja had an issue, and I want to reiterate it again. And he said, for once, the Mount Kenya region has, and I just want to paraphrase this, he said it has sterile bulls, impotent bulls. In that, he gave this analogy that when within your herd you don't have a bull that can sire, you know, they are impotent, then you have to borrow a bull. And so he said Mount Kenya is at a point where President Uhuru Kenyatta, the kingpin, can't stand for office, can't compete for office, because the constitution doesn't allow him to. He has served his 2 terms as president. And so even when he galvanizes people, he is an impotent leader. He can't go for the presidency. He can't go for any office. So what is he gathering the people around for? He will need another one from elsewhere. He will need to give the voters, the block, to another person. Similarly, Gachagua, after impeachment, he cannot pursue the office. And so even though they are politically active, they are not able to deliver tangible results. And we know politics is about interests. So where are Mount Kenya interests? Where are they secure? Who will secure the interest of the Mount Kenya region? Certainly it's not Uhuru Kenyatta. It is not one Rigathi Gachagua, if things stand the way they are. So what is the alternative voice? And that alternative voice is what Rigathi Gachagua has been killing. He doesn't want another one to rise. Could it be Irungu Kangata? Could it be Irungu Kangata? Could it be one, for example, Moturi? I don't know. Is it Kithure Kindiki? Because again, we cannot underplay the role of Professor Abraham Kithure Kindiki. He is the current DP, and of course the senior most political leader in government. What is his game plan? What is he up to? If Gachagua cannot deliver, if Uhuru Kenyatta cannot deliver, are we sure that Abraham Kindiki Kithure is not playing his mathematics to be able to galvanize that vote? We still have the Okalau constituency seat up for grabs. I think the pattern, what will happen in Okalau and what happened in Bere, where the UDA party was able to win, and Professor Kindiki led the team, the UDA team, the Kenya Kwanza team, and they were able to marshal the voters and to get that political seat. Now, if they are able to repeat that in Olkalau, then that will be a statement. And I'm sure they are looking very keenly at how the chips fall in Olkalau. And of course, people will talk about money. People will talk about the Lajis, what government is doing, the projects they are doing now and why now. But again, politics is about the optics. If the government is able to convince the people of Olkalau that it is serving their interests, who knows? Who knows what will happen? And so this is the point, that Mount Kenya people, most of them, they are educated. The issue of the tyranny of numbers, according to Professor Kagwanja again, is not going to count. Mutahi Ngunyi's tyranny of numbers is not what should be on the equation this time round. He talked about tyranny of ideas, tyranny of ideology. And I want to really say this is where Mount Kenya should consolidate itself around ideas, around issues, around, vision. What is it that we are in this for? Are we just there to shout, to be emotional, to have slogans and to sloganeer, to be given money or to receive money? Or are we there to argue out, to fight for certain interests? And what are these interests? What are these interests? We know basically Mount Kenya are business people. We want our business to thrive. We want to see our farms and the farm produce getting to the market. And we want to see the produce that we get from our farms giving real returns in terms of money to the farmers, money in the pockets of the farmers. We want accessibility of our products, and that speaks to roads. We want our children in school. We want our men and women, our children, our young, when they are sick, to go to the hospitals and get medication. That is what we want. We want to be heard. We want to have the space to speak our issues. We want the economy at the bottom of the pyramid to thrive, to be able to be robust enough so that we can access opportunities like other people. We want to have water, for irrigation and for use in our homes. We want to have these things, and these are our interests. And this is where I think one Rigathi Gachagua may be failing us. Instead of gathering our people around the ideas and then discussing, how can we move forward as a people, and how can we engage others? How can we engage communities from other sections of Kenya? How can we form, yes, the party may have the base in Mount Kenya, but how can we make it attractive to somebody else, to a Maasai, to a Turkana, to a Borana? How can we make this party attractive across the country? I think it's parochial, and it's a shame that in this age and time we have our politicians still speaking to their tribes people and weaponizing, their tribesmen and women against others. I think this is regrettable. It is savage politics. It is the politics of yesterday. The politics of today and tomorrow must be around ideas, around well thought out ideologies, around vision. And I think that is what we should gather around. And Kenyans, wherever you are, whether you're in this country or you're outside there, I encourage you, shall we gather around ideas? As you watch this particular channel, we encourage you to subscribe. You can comment, you can raise issues. We want this to be interactive. We want you to ask questions, and we'll be handling them. We'll be back. Thank you. Cheers, wherever you are. This is again Slope TV, your channel of choice. Thank you.